so I spent a lot of time thinking about Putin and what he's up to and why he's doing stuff. And I've got a view on this war and what's happening, and it's a little different than a lot of other people's view, and I'll just throw it out there so we can all discuss it, which is that Putin is basically, he's a thief, he's a crook. He's his basic, and this is true of many government officials in Russia. You join the traffic police to extort money from drivers. You work your way up in the government, and right up to the president, you steal as much money as you can. And over a 24-year period, or now 25 years, Putin and about 1,000 people around him have stolen $1 trillion from the Russian state. This is money that should have been spent on hospitals and schools and roads. Instead, it was spent on private jets and yachts and Swiss bank accounts. And you could do this in smaller amounts for less period of time, but if you do this for 25 years, for $1 trillion, the Russian people are eventually going to get mad at you. And it's kind of like Putin has spread gasoline all over the floor of Russia, and we're just waiting for a match, by stealing this amount of money, it's just waiting for a match to light up. And we've seen this match in Tunisia when the fruit seller set himself on fire. We saw this match in Kazakhstan. Most people didn't pay attention to this. They raised the price of gas, and people started burning the presidential palace. And so Putin, at a certain point, realized that he had just stolen too much money, and the only way that he could make sure that people aren't going to rise up and take over the Kremlin and hang him from a lamppost, the way they did with Ceausescu in Romania, would be to divert their attention. And so what do you do if you're a dictator who has stolen too much money, you're afraid of your own people? You find a foreign enemy and you start a war. And that's what this war in Ukraine is about. This is not about NATO enlargement. It's not about Putin's designs on territory in Ukraine. This is about a little man who's stolen too much money, and he understands that if the Russian people come for him, they're going to kill him. And it's Machiavelli 101. That's why he's in Ukraine. And so this idea that somehow he's going to agree to any kind of peace deal, I think, is very unrealistic. I don't think that there's a lot of talk now about, Trump has said we're going to solve this war in 24 hours. It's now gone from 24 hours to 100 days. They've put out a the contours of a peace plan. There's going to be, here's the line of where the war is going to stop, and here, no more NATO, and here's where the peacekeepers are going to be, which, for some people, that's a decent compromise, not for me, but for some people. But it doesn't really matter what contours they put out there, because all that really, the person that's going to determine whether there's going to be any peace deal is Vladimir Putin, who has no interest in any peace deal because he needs to be at war, because if he's not at war, the people are going to turn on him. And so I don't think, so my sort of contrarian prediction is that there's not going to be any peace deal.